Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Blaze, and today we're diving into a revenge plot so perfectly executed, it should be taught in universities. This is a story about turning a devastating, toxic insult into the ultimate motivation for a complete life overhaul. Imagine receiving a text message from the person you love, the person you share a home with, that is so cruel, so condescending that it calls your entire character into question. Clingy and pathetic, that was the weapon she chose. But the OP turned that weapon against her with one calm, single-word reply. This is a marathon of a story, detailing the OP's incredible physical, professional, and emotional glow-up, a transformation so complete that when the ex inevitably came back, she was staring at a total stranger. This is the ultimate lesson in living well, is the best revenge. If you are ready for a truly epic story of personal vindication, you need to stick around until the very end. But first, since you're already committed to a long video, please show your support by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel right now. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss the final, satisfying conclusion. The title of the story is, she texted, "You're clingy and pathetic." "I need space from your neediness," I calmly responded, "of course," and proceeded to have my best life, making her regret everything. Let's dive right into the original post, detailing the gut punch text and the OP's immediate, life-altering response, as posted to the ExNoContact subreddit. My ex-girlfriend, Chloe, and I were together for 5 years. We cohabitated in a nice apartment, split our finances, and for all intents and purposes, we were a married couple without the paperwork. I was deeply, deeply invested in our shared future. Looking back, I realize I was the supportive, slightly codependent one, the stable anchor who enabled her constant need for drama and validation. This imbalance was the rot at the core of our relationship, and I was too blind, or perhaps too afraid, to see it for what it was. The breakup came out of nowhere, or at least, the delivery of the breakup did. I was at work, sitting in a huge meeting for a crucial project, pitch, the kind of meeting that determines a quarter's revenue, when my phone vibrated repeatedly in my pocket. I glanced at it, and there was a series of texts from Chloe. I knew instantly from the length of the bubbles that this was bad, but nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared me for the sheer, surgical cruelty of her message, delivered at the moment I was professionally vulnerable. The message, which I have memorized for the rest of my life, read, "I can't do this anymore. You're clingy and pathetic. I need space from your neediness, your constant desire for validation. You hold me back. I've moved my stuff out. Don't contact me. I'm blocking you. Goodbye." It wasn't a breakup. It was a deliberate, malicious grenade designed to inflict maximum psychological damage, timed to hit me when I was already under immense stress. The words clingy and pathetic resonated with every insecurity I had ever buried deep down. The meeting dissolved around me. My friend and colleague Ben saw my face drain of all color and rushed me out of the conference room and down to the parking lot. The realization hit me like a physical blow. The love and commitment I felt for her were being used as a weapon, and she saw my stability as a sign of weakness, not strength. She wanted me to chase her, to beg, to confirm her cruel assessment, thereby re-establishing her power over me. I stood in the company parking lot, Ben listening in stunned, quiet silence as I recounted the text. I realized my response had to be the precise opposite of what she anticipated. She wanted tears, drama, and desperate appeals. I would give her cold, hard detachment. She wanted a desperate chase. I would give her impenetrable silence. She wanted me to confirm her power. I would take it all back with a single, devastating keystroke. I unblocked her number just long enough to send my reply. It was one word. Simple, final, devastatingly calm, denying her any emotional leverage. Of course. I immediately blocked her number again, blocked her on all social media platforms, and muted all mutual contacts. I deleted her emails. I enacted a total, zero-tolerance, no-contact protocol, not for her punishment, but for my psychological survival. I needed to cleanse her toxicity and the destructive identity she had assigned me. I walked back to the apartment that night, and it was half empty. She had executed a cowardly, pre-planned move, evacuating her belongings while I was at work. The apartment felt vast, sterile, and cold, like a crime scene. But instead of the tears and self-pity she expected, I felt a deep, welling up of cold, righteous anger. I would dedicate the next year of my life to proving those two words clingy and pathetic were the biggest, most toxic lie she ever told. My first non-negotiable action was to seek professional help. I immediately booked a session with a cognitive behavioral therapist. We spent the first few weeks dissecting those two words, acknowledging the truth of the situation. That I had allowed my self-worth to become fatally tethered to her external approval. The therapy was non-negotiable, and I cut deep into my savings to afford it, but it became the single best investment I've ever made in my mental health and future. Simultaneously, I initiated phase 1 of the glow-up, physical transformation. I had always been skinny fat, carrying a little extra weight and low energy due to my sedentary tech job. I hired a personal trainer who specialized in endurance sports. My goal was not just to look better, but to become mentally and physically unbreakable, a disciplined machine. I signed up for a full Ironman triathlon, a year out, a massive, public, non-refundable commitment to a life of discipline, the very antithesis of pathetic. I started waking up at 5 o'clock a.m. every single day for training. I cut out all sugar, all fast food, and all alcohol. The discipline was brutal, a daily grind of physical and mental pain, but every single mile I swam, ran, or cycled was a personal act of defiance against the limiting, toxic image she had of me. The clean, honest pain of the workouts felt like a balm compared to the crushing, dirty pain of the betrayal. The third component was professional. I realized my previous job as a senior analyst was a comfortable but suffocating rut. Chloe had always subtly discouraged me from applying for higher roles, perhaps because she needed me to remain slightly less successful than her, maintaining her sense of superiority. I spent my evenings studying relentlessly for professional certifications instead of moping. I was aiming for the director-level role at a major competitor firm, a position she always claimed was too much pressure and not you, honey. A month and a half into the breakup, she tried to hoover. She sent a carefully crafted, guilt-tripping email, not directly saying she wanted me back, but lamenting how hard the space was and how she missed the comfort of our shared apartment and my steady support. Because she was blocked everywhere else, the email went to a secondary junk account I had set to only check once a month, so I didn't see it for a week. When I finally read it, I saw it for the textbook manipulation it was. I deleted it, unread by her, and did not reply. The silence was the only answer she deserved, a silence that screamed my detachment. Another 3 months passed. I was 20 pounds lighter, negotiating a massive new salary and a complex benefits package for the director role, and running a marathon distance on my weekend-long run. I started traveling solo, using the money I would have spent on our joint future. My social media, previously a wasteland, became a curated gallery of my adventures. A sunrise photo from a mountaintop in the Rockies, a new professional certification on my wall, a picture of my increasingly fit physique. I was building a new, public identity of success, independence, and absolute self-sufficiency. I knew with absolute certainty that she would eventually surface, driven by curiosity, regret, and a desire to reclaim what she wrongly assumed was hers. And when she did, I would be ready to deliver the final, perfect, crushing sentence. The community immediately rallied around the OP, furious on his behalf and inspired by his calm strength. The consensus was clear. This was a toxic situation, and the only path forward was a total glow-up. Let's look at the initial, supportive reactions from the real Redditors. Therapy Saves Lives 99 said, "Not the a-hole. Not only are you not the a-hole, but you are a legend in the making." Your calm response, of course, is the most powerful mic drop I've ever seen. You denied her the drama, the apology, and the desperation she was fishing for. The Ironman training is brilliant. She wanted pathetic, you gave her a machine. Keep your eyes on the prize and do not break and see. The sheer psychological strength to calmly reply of course to such a brutal text is incredible. The OP immediately understood the power dynamic and seized control. The Ironman is the perfect antithesis to her insult. He's not just getting fit, he's becoming a high-value individual who is demonstrably not needy. This glow-up is about character transformation, not just abs. She will be horrified when she finally sees the new version of him, and that horror is the best revenge. Lost and Found 2023 said, "The therapy is the most important step." Her text was calculated emotional abuse. Your clinginess was likely a trauma response to her emotional manipulation, which she needed to control you. Now that you've addressed the root, the physical and professional success are just the cherry on top. Stay strong, hero. You are not the a-hole. That's a crucial analysis. Her accusation was a projection of her own fear of abandonment, and she manufactured the clinginess to ensure he stayed. The ops therapeutic journey breaks that toxic cycle permanently. Analyst to director said, aiming for the director role is the ultimate revenge. Nothing screams, I don't need you, like a massive promotion and salary increase at a rival firm. She tried to hold you back, and now you've lapped her. Focus on that final interview. That's the real power move. Not the a-hole. The professional success is where the true, sustainable power comes from. She wanted him to be small and manageable. He's becoming a high-powered executive. That kind of success is impossible to ignore or diminish, and it completely invalidates her claim that he holds her back. The setup was perfect, the transformation was clinical, and the only thing left was the inevitable confrontation. The ExNoContact community was on the edge of its seat waiting for this update. And trust me, the conclusion is spectacular, a full, unmitigated victory. If you've made it this far, you are clearly invested in the OP's victory, so please do the right thing. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive into the glorious final act. It's been over a year since I sent that simple, single-word text. A year that has been the hardest, yet most rewarding, of my entire life. I'm no longer the man who received that text. I'm a completely different person in every measurable way. The glow-up is not a phase, it's the new, permanent operating system for my life. And finally, the moment of ultimate, public vindication arrived in a way that was public, painful, and absolutely delicious. First, the hard stats to lay out the scale of the transformation. I secured the director of strategy role at the competitor firm, complete with a 70% salary increase, a generous stock package, and a team of 10 people reporting directly to me. I moved into a beautiful new, modern apartment in a highly desirable downtown area that I own outright. I completed the Ironman. It was a brutal, all-day mental and physical battle, but crossing that finish line, knowing the pathetic man I used to be, was the greatest personal triumph of my life. I was 55 pounds lighter, visibly muscular, and mentally sharper and more confident than I had ever been. My social media had become a highlight reel of my new reality. Pictures of the triathlon medal, professional headshots announcing the director role, and stunning landscape photography from my solo trips to the Dolomites and the Scottish Highlands. I didn't post any of this to get her back. I posted it because it was my genuine, authentic, and high-achieving new life, a life she wasn't a part of. But of course, the network of mutual friends ensured the information found its way to her, piece by painful piece. The confrontation happened a few weeks ago at the wedding of a mutual friend, Sarah. I almost didn't go, but my best friend Ben insisted I needed to show up as the new me, to stop hiding and to demonstrate my recovery. I walked in, wearing a sharp, custom-fitted suit, looking more confident and physically imposing than I had ever been in my life. I was immediately surrounded by people I hadn't seen in a year, all congratulating me on the promotion and the Ironman finish. I was the center of attention, something that would have absolutely terrified the clingy and pathetic version of me. About an hour into the reception, I saw her. Chloe. She was standing across the room, wearing a dress that looked too small, clutching a glass of wine, staring at me with a look I will never forget. It was a combination of utter shock, deep confusion, and crucially profound, visible regret. She was visibly stunned by my transformation, not just the physical, but the entire, self-assured presence I now carried. The needy, available man she knew was utterly gone, replaced by a version she was utterly unworthy of, and she knew it. She spent 30 minutes building up the courage, watching me laugh with my friends and confidently discuss my new role, until she finally cornered me near the bar. She was visibly flustered, her usual entitlement completely wavering under the weight of my success. She tried to initiate contact with the classic hoovering line, delivered with a forced, almost breathless awe. Wow, you look incredible, OP. I can't believe it. You've really, really changed. I looked at her. I gave her a polite but completely hollow and empty smile. Thank you, Chloe. It's good to see you too. Congratulations on Sarah's wedding. I kept the conversation rigidly superficial, denying her the emotional connection or the drama she was desperate to reestablish. She tried to steer the conversation back to us, back to her manipulative justification for leaving. She leaned in, her voice low and desperate. I've made some terrible mistakes, OP. I've realized how important you were to me. That text, I was having a bad day. I was confused. I was dealing with my own issues. We should talk. I miss you. I think we need to try again. I want to try again with this version of you, she was practically begging, and the pleading look in her eyes was the ultimate, satisfying proof that she knew exactly what she had lost. This was the final moment of reckoning. I had rehearsed this in my head for a year, but the words that came out were unplanned and completely authentic, forged by months of therapy and discipline. I kept my voice low, firm, and entirely devoid of any residual anger, using the 2 words she had used against me, turning them into a final summary of her toxic character. I looked her directly in the eye, maintaining complete calm control. Chloe, let me be absolutely clear. You don't miss me. You miss the comfortable, dependable life you abandoned. You miss the person who let you treat him with such casual disdain. You called that person clingy and pathetic. I'm glad you did, because those 2 words were the most valuable, painful gift I ever received. They were the catalyst I needed to save myself. I took your advice, I got space, and I stopped being the man who needed validation from you. I found out who I am without you, and it turns out that person is a director of strategy who has completed a full Ironman triathlon. I paused, letting the silence hang heavy, letting the weight of my words and achievements sink into her now pale, tear-filled face. I am not going back. You didn't leave me, you frayed me. I wish you well, but my best life doesn't have a place for the woman who tried to emotionally destroy me. Please don't contact me again. Enjoy the rest of the wedding. I then simply turned around and walked away, not looking back, leaving her standing alone by the bar, staring after the man who used to be her pathetic boyfriend. She tried to text me later that night, a barrage of furious, desperate messages, but they went unread and unanswered into the deep abyss of the block list. I had won the breakup. I had won my life, and she was left with nothing but regret. I'm now dating an incredible woman, a fellow triathlete and engineer who respects my ambition and celebrates my success. My life is full, my boundaries are steel, and I live every day on my own terms. Chloe's text was the painful catalyst for my freedom, and her profound, public regret is the permanent, daily validation that I made the only right choice. I am the hero of my own story. The final update caused an absolute firestorm in the comments section. The community's collective cheers were deafening. Let's look at the final, vindicated reactions to the ultimate glow-up and the ex's humiliation. Username Generator17 said, the speech. The I am a director who has completed an Ironman is the most powerful sentence in Reddit history. You used her own words, her own cruelty, and turned them into your greatest personal achievements. She saw the new, high-value you and realized she made the most expensive mistake of her life. You are a god, not the a-hole. That final monologue should be transcribed and framed. It's the ultimate closure, a surgical removal of her lingering power, delivered with cold, irrefutable facts. The public humiliation was the final, well-deserved consequence for her malicious behavior. Unsent Letter Bot 2 said, she came back for the comfortable life she abandoned, only to find the new, improved version had no desire for her drama. The fact that she was visibly flustered is the sweet, sweet cherry on top. This is the best outcome of the no-contact rule I have ever witnessed. You are the MVP of self-improvement. She wanted a do-over with the upgraded model, and the OP shut her down with the strength of his entire new life. The personal transformation is the real win, but the look on her face must have been priceless, a mixture of shock and utter defeat. Midwest Mom of 3 said, the public setting was perfect. She couldn't scream, she couldn't cry. She had to take the full force of the truth in front of witnesses. The best revenge is indeed living well, and you, OP, are living a life that screams, I am absolutely necessary and utterly independent, not the a-hole. The nonverbal cues, the bespoke suit, the confidence, the attention from others said more than any words ever could. He became everything she was too insecure to let him be, and she was publicly forced to watch. Financial wellness guy said, "The final dating chapter is the closure the OP deserved." Finding a partner who celebrates his discipline confirms that the man he became is the man he was always meant to be. This is a story about financial, physical, and emotional independence. Bravo! The final dating chapter is the closure the OP deserved. Finding a partner who celebrates his discipline confirms that the man he became is the man he was always meant to be. This is a story about financial, physical, and emotional independence. Bravo! Wow. Just wow. The sheer, naked entitlement of Chloe to think she could tear the OP down, watch him flounder, and then waltz back in and claim the improved version is absolutely staggering. The OP's calm, final summary to her was the perfect, devastating closure. This is a painful but important lesson. You cannot put your life on hold for someone who disrespects your commitment. The OP took control of his own narrative, and in doing so, he saved himself from a lifetime of emotional manipulation. The finality of that moment, handing over the envelope and the keys, is one of the most powerful, non-verbal divorce announcements I have ever encountered. It's a moment of pure, devastating closure. Thank you all for sticking with me through this truly marathon story. If you loved the glow up, please like the video, share it, and definitely subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next epic tale of revenge and self-improvement. Until next time,